In a clash of titans that shakes the very foundations of Earth, Superman faces his greatest adversary once again, Doomsday. A beast born of destruction, Doomsday tears through Metropolis with one goal: to annihilate the Man of Steel. As their battle reaches godlike proportions, Superman knows this fight could be his last. Can the last son of Krypton stop a monster that adapts to every punch, or will Doomsday bring about his final end? Buckle up for an epic showdown of mythic proportions, where legends are born and cities fall. The sky over Metropolis was painted a swirling mix of gray and black, as if the heavens themselves had turned against the city. Storm clouds gathered unnaturally, casting an eerie, oppressive atmosphere over the skyline. A strange energy crackled in the air, a sign of the coming storm and something much worse. From the Daily Planet's rooftop, Lois Lane stared into the distance, her heart pounding as she whispered into the wind, "Clark, where are you?" Below her, chaos reigned. Civilians screamed as they fled through the streets, their fear palpable as the earth itself seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Sirens wailed in the distance, but they were drowned out by something far more terrifying. A roar, a deep, primal sound that reverberated through the concrete and steel canyons of Metropolis. The monster was a towering mass of muscles and jagged bone protrusions, its skin a sickly gray, almost rock-like. Its eyes glowed red with unbridled rage, and with every step, the ground quaked, cracks forming beneath its feet. The monster moved with deliberate menace, destroying everything in its path. Cars were tossed aside like toys. Buildings collapsed under the force of its fists, and entire city blocks were reduced to rubble in a matter of seconds. The National Guard had been deployed to stop the beast, but their efforts were futile. Tanks were crushed as if made of tin. Helicopters were swatted from the sky like flies, and every missile, every bullet fired at the creature did nothing but enrage it further. In the center of the destruction, Doomsday let out another roar, shaking the very foundations of the city. It was searching for a fight, for the one opponent that could challenge it, the one who had stopped it before. Superman. Lois clutched her press badge tightly, trying to steady her breath. Her heart raced, knowing what was coming. She had seen Doomsday before. She had seen what this monster was capable of, and she had seen what it had done to Clark, the man the world knew as Superman, the last time they had fought. Below her, in the streets, people screamed, running for safety, their eyes wide with fear. But she stood her ground. She had to know. She had to see if he would come. Then, from above, there was a flicker, a red and blue blur that cut through the darkened clouds like a comet. A gust of wind followed as a sonic boom echoed across the city, and in an instant, there he was. He hovered above the chaos, his cape fluttering in the wind, the bright yellows on his chest a beacon of hope to the people below. His face was grim, his eyes narrow as he surveyed the destruction, and when he looked down at Doomsday, the tension in his jaw became more pronounced. He had fought this monster before. He knew what it was capable of, and he knew that this fight would be no less dangerous than their last battle, a fight that had cost him his life. The ground quaked beneath Doomsday's feet as the monster spotted Superman. With a bellowing roar that shattered nearby windows, it charged, moving faster than something of its size had any right to. Buildings shook as the beast barreled forward, its massive fists clenched, ready to obliterate anything in its path. With a flash of speed, he shot down from the sky, meeting Doomsday head-on. The impact of their collision was like a bomb going off in the center of Metropolis. The shockwave shattered windows for miles, and the ground split beneath them. People miles away could feel the tremor in their bones. The world seemed to hold its breath as these two titans clashed, fists colliding with the force of hurricanes. His fist slamming into Doomsday's jaw with enough power to level a skyscraper. The monster reeled for a moment, stumbling back but quickly recovered. It swung one of its massive fists in retaliation, and though Superman was able to dodge the first blow, the second connected with his side, sending him crashing through the facade of a nearby building. Brick and steel rained down as Superman pulled himself from the rubble, wiping the blood from his mouth. Doomsday was relentless, already charging again. Superman flew at the monster with everything he had, his fists a blur as he struck Doomsday in the ribs, the face, the chest. Each blow meant to incapacitate, to end this as quickly as possible. But for every punch Superman landed, Doomsday seemed to grow stronger. His body adapted, his skin hardened, and the bony protrusions on his arms and shoulders sharpened like spears. Each strike sending shockwaves through the city. Buildings collapsed, streets cracked open, and cars were hurled through the air like confetti. Superman fought with everything he had, but he was beginning to feel the toll. His muscles ached, his chest heaved with each breath, and blood stained his iconic suit. Doomsday, however, was an unstoppable force of nature, its rage growing with each passing second. Doomsday caught Superman with a brutal punch to the midsection, sending him crashing into the ground with a deafening thud. The impact created a massive crater in the middle of the street, debris flying in all directions. Superman groaned, pain shooting through his body as he tried to push himself up. His vision blurred as he looked up to see Doomsday looming over him, ready to deliver the final blow. Lois, watching from a distance, felt her heart drop. "Clark," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Summoning every ounce of strength he had left, Superman's eyes began to glow a deep red. Before Doomsday could strike, twin beams of heat vision erupted from his eyes, hitting the monster square in the chest. Doomsday roared in pain, stumbling back as Superman rose to his feet. His body ached, his mind screamed for rest, but his spirit was unbreakable. "I won't let you win," Superman growled, his voice hoarse but filled with resolve. "Not today." With a final burst of speed, Superman charged. He moved faster than ever before, his fists flying at Doomsday with the force of a hurricane. He hit the monster again and again, refusing to let up. Every punch was fueled by the lives of the people of Metropolis, by Lois, by Jimmy, by everyone he cared about. In one last desperate move, Superman grabbed Doomsday by the throat, his muscles straining as he lifted the massive creature into the air. He shot upward, higher and higher, through the clouds, past the atmosphere, into the void of space. Stars twinkled around them as Superman held the beast tight, his grip like iron. He could feel his strength fading, his body breaking down from the relentless fight. But he had to end this, now. With one final surge of power, Superman hurled Doomsday into the sun. The monster screamed in defiance, its roar echoing through the void of space as it hurtled toward the burning star. The heat of the sun engulfed Doomsday, turning the creature into nothing but ash. Watching as the monster that had taken so much from him was finally destroyed. But his body was giving out. He had pushed himself beyond his limits, and now there was nothing left. His vision blurred, his limbs felt heavy, and his consciousness began to slip away. And then a hand, warm, familiar. It was Kara, Supergirl. She had been watching, waiting for the moment when she was needed. She caught him just as he began to drift into unconsciousness, her arms cradling him gently as she carried him back to Earth. As they descended, the people of Metropolis cheered. Their hero had done it again. Superman had saved them. But as Lois watched from the rooftop, tears streaming down her face, she knew that each time Superman faced Doomsday, a part of him died. How many more battles like this could he survive? For now, though, the world was safe. And that was enough.